Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to ICE platform. So, I am Neelam Parshuram from IC Ventus team, and thank you for joining us once again this Tuesday. So, for those who are attending this for the first time, welcome to our weekly webinar series where every Tuesday we connect with professionals, experts, and learners from elevators and escalator industry on one common platform. While we wait for a few more participants to join in, I'll take few minutes to explain what does IC do and how do we work with the industry. So ICE platform. So this platform is designed to share practical knowledge, industry insights, and a real world experience that can help you grow professionally and stay updated with the latest development in the industry. So we are glad to see participants from a different location, and we truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to learn, to gain insights, and to upgrade your knowledge with us today. So it's an initiative by IC Ventus. IC Ventus is also organizes exhibitions, trade shows, and industry event. We create a platform that supports learning, collaboration, and business growth. IC Ventus has become a trusted bridge between regional markets and global opportunities. Our upcoming shows. First is IC India 2026. It will held from 3rd, 4th and 5th December in Delhi, proudly making the capital city the host of this year's edition. With strong industry support, IC has grown to become the fourth largest exhibition for elevators and escalators, reflecting the trust and collaboration of the entire industry. So this year's exhibition is planned across a massive area of 40,000 square meter in two halls. So making it one of the largest gathering in the vertical transportation industry. So my advice is like to plan your exhibition in such a way is like at least plan for 2 days to experience the scale, the innovation, and the opportunities this exhibition has to offer you. Our next show is I See the Monsoon edition in Chennai, featuring the quiz, the symposium, and the dynamic industry exhibition. And this is scheduled for August in 2027 on 5th, 6th, and 7th in Chennai Trade Center. Next is IC Africa 2027. So it will be held from 24th, 26th, no, 24th, 25, and 26th November in KICC in Kenya. And yes, Kenya is one of the fastest growing infrastructure market in Africa, creating strong opportunities for the elevator and escalator industry. So this exhibition will bring together global manufacturers, suppliers, and industry professionals to showcase innovative and safe vertical mobility solution for the growing Africa market. It is IC papers. So vertical transportation industry has always been built on knowledge shaped by experience, innovation, and real world challenges. Yet much of this knowledge often remains scattered, undocumented, or limited to individuals and organizations. So that's why IC Papers is created. So a platform to share knowledge, to showcase your journey, and to connect with industrial professionals. So this platform is built by the industry and for the industry to encourage learning, collaboration, and growth. So if you are part of vertical transportation ecosystem, this platform is for you. So please do visit the website called icpapers.com, and you can also follow on social media as well for the latest updates. Moving on to our today's session, we are glad we are going to explore how the software is transforming the vertical transportation industry from AI and cloud connectivity to predictive maintenance and smart operations. Digital technologies are redefining the way elevators and escalators are designed, managed, and maintained. So, today's session is presented by KONE, a global leader in the elevator and escalator industry. The with the operations in nearly 70 countries and moving around 2 billion people every day. KONE continues to shape the future of cities through innovation and smart mobility solutions. We are delighted to have with us Mr. Manish Mahto, a senior specialist, and Mr. R. Mohan, Deputy General Manager, Software at KONE Technology and Innovation from Chennai. So, together they bring over 3 decades of experience in elevator control software, product development, and digital transformation. I'm sure today's session will provide us a valuable insights into how software is making the real difference in the future of vertical transportation. Also, KONE will be exhibiting in IC India 2026. So do visit them at booth number 2A01, Hall 2. A quick note to the audience. Uh, Please feel free to put down your questions during the session. We will take up this question at the end during Q&A round. With that, I welcome Mr. Manish Mato and Mr. Mohan to begin the webinar today.
We are audible and visible, right?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Neelam. Thank you for the introduction and thanks for advertising the booth number also for the next year IC.
Yes.
Let's come to the topic for the webinar today. I'll share my screen. I will ask your confirmation if my screen is visible. Please let me know.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Right. So some technical settings here. Okay. So let's get started. I'm Manish Mahto with my colleague R. Mohan here, and Neelam has already introduced us. So this is a slide just for introduction. We will go directly to the topic. So today our topic is software is making difference in vertical transportation industry. And our focus would be in today's webinar. We touch upon the main use case on this topic and cover the benefits of how the new technologies and how the software is making difference in vertical transportation industry. So we'll not touch upon the technical details, how to implement it, but more on the use case and what are the benefits. I request Mohan to take forward from here. Yes, Manish. Maybe next. Okay. Start with so let us start with some kind of evolution of this vertical transportation industry. So what has happened both mechanically and as well as electromechanically. So the kind of journey what now I'm going to take you through is not through buildings but through times. So let us imagine that we are standing in an ancient marketplace where goods need to be lifted to the granaries above. It is a period like where there are no motors, no buttons, no circuits, just ropes, pulleys, and then human efforts. So elevators in their earliest form, so they were born from necessity, mainly because of a desire to move what the human body alone could not. And then in the late 1800s, the world was buzzing with this energy of the industrial revolution, and then steam engines were reshaping the cities. And then some magic happened. So then comes this electricity. So suddenly people start to realize that elevator is not just machine. It is partner in our everyday life. With the electric motors, the travel became very smooth. With push button controls, the passenger experience is something unprecedented. So they had their movement and their economy. So these were more than technological achievements. So they were movements like when humanity decided that sky was no longer a limit but an invention. And then somewhere in the 1970s, there was a twist in the story, and then that changed the direction of the story. So that is the time like when this metal motors that transformed the elevators were removed, and then there was something invisible, that is the software. So what used to be a simple up and down race to begin with earlier, like now became a system with a lot of intuition. And then as decades went on, buildings grew taller, cities grew denser, and then expectations grew sharper, and software rose to meet the challenge. So now we have cloud connectivity that would allow elevators to speak to technicians, to building owners, and then as well as to the other elevators. Now we have mobile apps, so which shifted control from the panels to the packets of the technician. And then IoT gave us a lot of insights that we previously used. Machine learning and AI brought something closer to the code side. So now elevators could detect problems even before they happen. In the latest trend, now we have robots that fly into the elevators automatically, turning vertical transport into part of a larger ecosystem of indoor logistics. So this mechanical era, then this electromechanical era, they gave elevators the muscle, but the software era gave them a mind. Next. So we had mentioned about two use cases to present, and the first use case is about this citizen development. So what does this citizen development actually mean? So it refers to the enablement of non-technical users.
Mohan sir, sorry to interrupt. Can you be a bit louder?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
How about now? Is it better?
Yes, it is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe to start with, we'll go with this definition of citizen development. So citizen development refers to the enablement of non-technical users, mainly the people who understand operations deeply, but they may not be a native software developer to build their own digital solutions. So these individuals, we call them as citizen developers. They can create workflows, they can create dashboards, reporting tools, and even automation tailored very exactly to the operational needs. So mainly in vertical transportation industry like ours, where the field operations, maintenance excellence, and response times matter, empowering people closest to the process can unlock a tremendous value. Mainly the challenges that drive this citizen development, there are four key challenges which we all face across the elevator and the escalator ecosystem. The first one is increasing complexity. So now we have more systems that are connected, they are intelligent, they are digital. So when we have more complicated systems, the challenges also becomes much complicated while trying to solve the problems. And then the second key challenge is the growing demand for rapid innovation. So customers nowadays expect quicker upgrades, better experiences, and continuous improvement. So the traditional development life cycle often can't keep up to the customer expectations. Third challenge is that the software changes are becoming very costly. Every small customization or a dashboard addition or a workflow change that comes with the price tag, both in terms of time and as well as in terms of money. Fourth challenge is that customizations are very slow, and then they are also very unresponsive. So even when you want to improve your process, waiting for the development bandwidth slows us down and limits agility. So citizen development concept helps to address these challenges by shifting capability and creativity closer to the people who experience problems firsthand. So how software can help to address these challenges? Maybe to start with, so there are a lot of low code and no code platforms. So these tools allow users to create their own apps with visual interfaces instead of programming languages. So that would make the life of non-software people to create their own digital solutions in a much faster time And then the second part is on this cloud connectivity. So data and tools are now available anytime, anywhere, critical for the field technicians and then for remote operations. Then we have this artificial intelligence and machine learning. These technologies make recommendations. So some of the repetitive actions can be automated, and then they also help to identify inefficiencies in the system. Then comes in this augmented and virtual reality technologies. They can do as a lot of support in training, remote diagnostics, virtual prototyping, and safety simulations as well. So together with all these technologies, we could try to reduce the dependency on the traditional development teams and empower organizations to innovate from. So looking into the future, like so with all these software developments and digitally connected elevators, so where do we land? So to start with the broader participation. So the list of innovators, so they get expanded beyond the software specialist. So field engineers, technicians, operation managers, and even customers can now become more active contributors to the digital solutions. And then now companies get a chance to create a kind of a new business models where we will see more subscription-based platform-centric solutions in our industry. So manufacturers, service providers, they can differentiate themselves through user-friendly digital ecosystems. Third is we see this increased competition and then collaboration as well. OEMs, suppliers, and service companies will compete on digital experience, but also they have to collaborate more closely with the customers and regulators on the shared platforms. Fourth one is on this faster feedback loops. Since these inputs are coming directly from field users and domain experts, the time from identifying a need to implementing a solution, so that would drastically get reduced. So when we see as a whole, the citizen development is not just a technology trend, it is a strategic shift in how we innovate, how we work, and how we serve customers. As our industry is continuing to evolve towards smarter, more connected systems, empowering people closest to the operations becomes essential. Citizen development supported by modern platforms and emerging technologies has the potential to significantly accelerate innovation in the elevator and escalator domain. With this, I will try to close this use case on the citizen development. If there are some questions, we can take on the citizen development. If not, we can also move on to the next use case where my colleague Manish will present it.
Thank you. Any questions we would like to take on Neelam? No, then we can go to the next topic.
Only question is that your audio is little lower, so audience is to bit little louder.
Okay, aware.
Yes.
Then we
Thank
go
you.
to the next topic then. Yeah. Thanks, Mohan. And then the next topic is demystifying codes and standards. So the name itself says like, okay, clarify or get more clarity or get things easier with the codes and standards. Codes and standard in vertical transportation industry. When we talk about elevators and escalators, we often focus on engineering excellence, efficiency, ride comfort, or energy performances. But there is another invisible system that decides whether any of this innovation can reach to the customer at all. It's basically that invisible system is a codes and standard. If you're not complying with the codes and standard, so how effective, efficient the solution is, so it would not go to the customer now. So codes and standard are not just regulatory checklists, they are society contract for safety, trust, and accountability. So yeah, today, if we are honest with ourselves, the codes and standard in the vertical transportation industry are often difficult to, for example, if I would like to highlight the challenges. So let's say the challenges comes with like this four main criteria. There would be more, but then I would like to at least touch upon these four. So difficult to interpret due to complex technical language. Limitation to access some standards sometimes lead to transparency and accessibility. So some standards are really difficult to access also. Highly manual in execution and intimidating for new talent, difficult to learn. Frequent revisions, regional deviations, and interpretation differences often cause variability. the industry question is no longer are codes important. So the industry question, real question is like, how do we make codes and standard understandable, actionable, and future ready in a rapidly digitalizing world? So there is where software, AI, and emerging technologies create a defining shift. So let's say what is broken today, if you want to touch upon that. So let us reflect on the current reality. Codes like IS, EN, ASME, and many regional variants run in hundreds of pages, filled with technical language and written for specialists or experts. Now combine these with the frequent revisions, regional deviations, and then interpretation differences between the inspectors in the region and heavy dependency on human judgment during the inspections. So what would it result in? Like the results are like inconsistent compliance outcome or long approval cycles, delayed modernization projects. So there are like this Snell standards followed for modernization. But knowledge being locked inside a few experts and a steep learning curve for young engineers and inspectors. In simple terms, compliance today is correct but not scalable. And as cities grow vertically, this model will not sustain. So we have to bring reliance on the new technologies to understand better on codes and standard. So what if compliance became digital by design? So as we have seen in our books nowadays, even the school kids, they get a QR code to get the proper like a phonetic or maybe the accent of the poetry, right? So let's say to understand things better for the kids, there has been like the updates in the books. So why we do not have the updates in the codes and standards? So it has been just into a manual book into a digital PDF format. So what in codes and standard were not just documented, but then it would be an intelligent system. So what if codes could explain themselves in plain language? Inspections were guided step by step, not just checked once in a year. Uh, not left to a memory, and also not just checked once in a year, but we are continuously monitored, daily monitored thing. And new engineers could learn safety by experience and not only by books. So this is not a future vision. This is already a possible because of software. And how emerging software technologies demystify codes and standard. We will get into the details of how software helps. So to start with the first one, the augmented reality. Uh, Compliance at the point of work. Instead of carrying manuals to the site, imagine this: a technician wears AR glasses, and system overlays like inspection steps, okay, or measurement guide is like what to be checked, highlighting of non-compliant components in the real time. So with the gaze, you get the details. Remote experts can join inspections virtually, enabling remote audits. So there might be like some criteria which can be verified remotely with some digital data. This removes ambiguity, reduces errors, and ensures consistency across inspectors and regions. Virtual reality. Training the next generation safely. Let us talk about learning. So many institutions still struggle to provide hands-on exposure to the real elevator system, but then there have been adaptation to the latest technology in the education, like in the technical institutes. There have been like AR, VR related subjects now like taught to the students. So with VR, let's say when we talk to industry, so there is a scope of like improvements and opportunity to innovate, and especially in the field of codes and standard, inspectors can with the VR practice inspections in simulated environments if simulations are done. Rare but critical scenarios like brake failure or emergency evacuation can be trained without risk. So certification exams can move from theory to experience-based validation. So these make safety knowledge and repeatable, scalable, and standardized. So on artificial intelligence, how it can help. Imagine generative AI transforms static codes into living knowledge. So AI models can interpret the standards and convert complex clauses into plain language. Then there could be a digital co-pilots or allow technicians or inspectors to ask like, hey, is this door clearance compliant under IS1, for example, 17900? And you put the question there, and then you get an answer like AI automatically generates inspection checklist based on the equipment type, or installation of the year. It can check the demographic, like which region it belongs to and which year of installation it has been. Not all the latest standard applies to the all the elevators. It also applicable in the region wise and then year of installation. So that work also AI can do. So machine learning and let's say and IoT from periodic checks to the continuous compliance with the connected elevators, it is highly possible. So sensor data feed into ML models, system learns failure patterns and risk profiles, and then inspections are frequently becomes like risk. Inspection frequency becomes risk based but not calendar based. So there is a risk. There is a data trend showing okay there would be inspection required. It can be now it's like fixed year wise like it has to be inspected. So compliance evolves like uh, now it actually evolves from the point what people say is like was it a compliant during inspection to is it compliant is the elevator compliant every day. So let's say what if the inspection was done compliance verified but how do we know in the next 6 months in between if something is varied or modified. So I think something with the real connected elevators this data can be utilized and compliance can be checked on daily basis. So why this matters? So this transition delivers value across the ecosystem, elevator ecosystem. So let it be OEMs reduce approval cycles and improve design for the compliance, or service teams. So they get clarity and confidence on the side. Most importantly, safety moves from being enforced to being embedded. What I would like to next highlight is the vision or the like a future focuses, also associating with benefits. So imagine a future when the building status can be checked. A building owner scans a QR code inside an elevator and views live compliance status. Is my elevator compliant or not today? So an inspector walks in with AR guidance instead of a paper checklist and qualifies the elevator. Let's talk about the third use case where the students or the maybe early entries to the elevator industry, the engineers, or let's say the customers wants to learn elevator safety by walking through the virtual system. It's doable. And also very important one for the regulators. Regulators can monitor compliance not per building, but per city in a real time. So in that future, codes are no longer feared. They are understood, trusted, and continuously applied. So I would like to close this presentation by concluding that the software is no longer an enabler of the vertical transportation industry. It is the language through which safety, compliance, and trust will be delivered. Demystifying codes and standard is not about reducing the rigor, it is about enhancing clarity. And when clarity meets technology, so we move from compliance as obligation to compliance as a confidence. I would like to end my presentation here, and maybe we can take next questions, if any, from the audience.
Thank you, Mohan and Manish sir, for the informative session. We will now open the ground for the Q&A round. So, attendees, if you have any questions to ask them, please drop down your questions. So, there is one question like, how do you ensure AI doesn't interpret a safety critical code clause and give wrong guidance to the technician?
So maybe I'll take that question. So that's very valid concern. I would say AI in safety critical domains must never be a sole decision maker. So there has to be a gateway checker. So basically, until this gets productized, or I would say before fully trusting on it, so there has to be like a thorough test done. So the learning to the agent has to be there. AI agent has to be there. So AI assistant human verified. So it is a flow or a process So first it starts with like take a support of AI, then it's like a AI supported, AI assisted with the humans, and then slowly uh, with the human verified data and the learning to the models, the AI would do job near to the perfect. So I would say yes, it is true, it's possible. Like in the initial phase, we would get wrong answers, but even how we can improve this is like with the thorough learning and wider adaptation of this. So there is a possibility of less errors in future.
Manish, maybe to add more on what you say. So before coming to this presentation, so I was seeing a matrix. So where they were trying to plot like how to use this AI wise. So where AI needs to be consulted, where it needs to be like checked along with the manual intervention. So there I saw like the safety and critical part was mentioned, where you can get inputs from the AI, but still the manual application is still needed at the AI, till be evolved over the years.
Yes.
So there are certain areas like where human interventions are not needed. In those cases, sometimes there are cases like where it is very laborious for a human being to go and do those tasks. In those cases, AI could be used. So it all depends on like artificial intelligence plus human intelligence. So we need to know like where to use this AI.
Yeah.
Then we'll get
Correct.
into the things.
Correct. The right keyword would be AI with
Human brain.
human.
Correct. Human touch. Correct. We'll move on to next question. What about the regions where digital infrastructure is poor? Not reliable internet, older building with IoT connect without IoT connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, it's true that, and it was an expected question also. I would say, uh, let's say, for example, in India, okay, we have many elevators, but then not all the elevators are connected. And let's say if we in the tier one cities, we can have the connectivity, tier two, but then the difficulty part would be tier three, and then the remote area. So maybe the customers would not be adopting or ready to purchase the connectivity solutions in the elevator. So that is one of the barrier in the industry we have. So it's true that let's say until we have the digital capability, so we cannot scale. We cannot scale with the IoT solutions.
Yeah, maybe Manish, like we can correlate this with the happenings that is happening in the other industries. For example, if you take the banking domain, there were days like when people used to visit banks to draw money, to put money, right? So now what has happened? So people initially thought that when this digital revolution was happening, it's quite hard for India to adapt to this kind of UPIs or other digital money. Still, people believe that so in India, like this kind of a large population, they can go only with physical money, and it's quite hard to do that.
Yeah.
But we have shown that resilience, right? Like we have changed, we have changed. Now nobody carries physical money, right, anymore. It's quite hard now to find a change for your physical money.
Yes, sir.
So that transformation would happen here also in the elevator industry. So that will definitely happen.
I fully agree, and still like it's a very great example of UPI and the digital transaction and the banking. So India has been like more advanced than they like maybe many countries, like they haven't adopted fully the digital transaction.
Even the advanced countries are not.
Advanced countries are not. So I would say like elevator industry also like let's say if the connectivity we do not have, definitely like we need to have this evolution and but then let's say when we talk about the IoT connectivity is not there, but still there is a possibility of let's say AR and VR. So with the AR and with the VR technologies, you can have the downloaded information. Let's say you have the offline data of an elevator system predefined, and when you utilize those like technology use cases, then that works even in the offline. So you have the offline data in the device, and then when you look at the elevator or the any inspection thing, so you can get like a feedback from the already record like offline data. So it doesn't have to connect with the cloud also. So that's possible with the AR and VR, and where we can do some use cases, if not full-fledged IoT connectivity.
Absolutely. We'll move on to next question. Won't digitalization of codes make experienced inspector and experts obsolete?
So again, yeah, this is also a good question. Like we often think of like, okay, well, and it's a very generic thing. Like it's been already discussed in the software industry or in any industry. Let's say, uh, can AI take our job? So let's say here for the inspectors, won't the digitalization of codes and standard take a inspectors or experts job? I would say no. Rather, it would amplify that. So let's say today expert knowledge is very limited. So what are we doing if they, for example, people retire without sharing the knowledge? Okay.
Correct.
So we are already having a less experts. Okay, but then the transfer of information is less. Okay, and industry is like very safety critical and like very important for the people flow, people movement in the urban cities. But then codes and standard, digitalization of codes and standard is going to bring the awareness to everyone. So now it's only with the experts, but then soon it will be like with the digitalization to the elevator technicians, service technicians, installers, customers, architects, tenants who are using the lift on daily basis. And then definitely on the, let's say, with the technical experts or the working group or the fraternity who are working on the codes and standard, they will be the one who are contributing a lot to the digitalization of code, and they will be the one who will get the benefit also. So let's say if we digitalize the codes and standard, so there would be like easy, okay, it will be easy to analyze, easy to compare, easy to find information when we have multiple documents available. So how I see is yes, experts might feel like their expectation would go low. There is a digitalization of code, but I would say like uh, I disagree to that, and I believe like they will also agree with me with time when we have the adaptation of digitalization of codes and standard. That with the digitalization, uh, there will be more opportunity. There will be like
Correct.
more amplification to their work than uh, getting some opportunities also.
Correct. Is there any questions from the attendees side? I think that's all with the questions. I thank Manish sir and Mohan sir for the insightful and engaging session. So, in today's discussion, we clearly demonstrated that software is no longer just a supporting the vertical transportation industry. It is like driving the future, the next generation of the elevator technology. Yes, and on behalf of IC and KONE, I thank you both for your time and sharing your expertise with all of us.
Thanks, Neelam. Thanks for the opportunity as well.
Yes,
For this platform.
and I also thank all our attendees who have joined us today for your presence. And as a reminder, our webinar happens every Tuesday. Our next webinar is going to happen on 14th July. So thank you once again for joining us. And let's stay connected and have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manish sir. Thank you, Moon sir.
Thank you.
Bye.